Hey everyone, it's Marco Brown. A couple days ago, I talked about my number one rule for getting 50-50 custody with your kids. And that rule is don't leave the home when you separate. So you got to stay with your kids. You need to be around them every day. You need to parent them. If you leave, your chance of getting 50-50 goes down pretty dramatically. And what I mean by leave is you leave the marital home and you leave the kids in the marital home with your spouse. If you do that, your chance of getting 50-50 goes down pretty dramatically. So you got to stay in the home. That's not quite as easy as it sounds though, because what'll happen is when you separate, your spouse is going to tell you to get out. She is going to want you to leave and is going to want to stay there with the kids. And you're just going to have to say no. You're going to have to, stay the course, say, no, I'm staying here. I'm getting 50-50 with the kids. Your spouse is going to be on you like white on rice. He or she is going to threaten you, is going to be on you every day to get out, is going to tell you you can't sleep in the bed, go down to the basement, do everything to make your life miserable. You have to keep in mind that you're doing this for your kids, so you have to stay in the house. Just stay the course. You'll be okay. The second thing to think about is, I'm looking at my notes here, if your spouse changes the locks on the house. This happens all the time, actually. They want you out, so when you go to work, your spouse will change the locks. You can go get a locksmith and get back in your house. It's your house. You have just as much right as your spouse to be there. So go get a locksmith, say, hey, look, we're going through a divorce. I live in the house. She changed the locks. I need to get back in. Sometimes the locksmith will want a cop to be there, just so, the locksmith is kind of on the up and up and knows that there's no funny business going on. If that's the case, fine, call the police, tell them the situation, have them come over and be with you and the locksmith as the locksmith gets you back in your house. So don't feel bad about that. Just go get a locksmith and don't worry about it. You'll be okay. And then the third thing is, if your spouse calls the cops to get you thrown out of the house, don't worry, you're going to be fine. Unless there's been a crime committed, the cops are going to come over. You explain to the cops, look, I want 50-50 with the kids. We separated, but I'm not leaving the house. I have nowhere to go. I'm staying here. No crime has been committed. You can't really do anything. And the cops are going to say, you're right. And then they'll go talk to your spouse as well. If nothing's happened, the cops are going to say, all right, you guys need to work this out in divorce court, and they're going to walk away. So that's a really stressful thing to go through, especially if you have kids and the cops come over and the kids see them, but you'll be okay. Just make sure that you explain the situation to them and they're going to walk away. Number one thing though, you have to stay the course. You have to be committed to 50-50 and staying in that house no matter what happens. If you do that, your chance of getting 50-50 goes way up. If you need help with your divorce, give us a call, 801-685-9999. Thanks, everyone.